I haven't read in a long time. I did teach class here in 64, and last year, University of New Mexico in Albuquerque, but just lecturing. But reading poetry I haven't done in a long time. So I'll pick out for you people what I feel are my best poems out of the whole lot, okay? Greenwich Village Suicide. Now this was done in 1952. Arms outstretched, hands flat against the window sides. She looks down. She thinks of Bartok, Van Gogh, and New Yorker cartoons. She falls. They take her away with the Daily News on her face, and the storekeeper throws hot water on the sidewalk. This is the first poem I ever wrote. I was 16 years old when I wrote it because I never saw my mother, and the family that I had told me that she went back to Italy. So this is the poem that I wrote regarding that, sea chanty. My mother hates the sea, my sea especially. I warned her not to. It was all I could do. 2 years later, the sea ate her. Upon the shore I found a strange yet beautiful food. I asked the sea if I could eat it, and the sea said that I could. Oh sea, what fish is this so tender and so sweet? Thy mother's feet. Here's a song I wrote. And it has to do with the pig. The word pig has changed so much today. Well, let's see how it works years ago. It's a song. Oh dear, oh me, oh my, I married the pig's daughter, I married the pig's daughter, why? I met her in the evening, in the moon, in the sky. She kissed me in the evening and wed me in her sty. Oh dear, oh me, oh my, I married the pig's daughter, I married the pig's daughter, why? 'Cause I felt I had order, 'cause I was the one that taught her how to love and how to die. And tomorrow there'll be no sorrow, no, there'll be no sorrow when I take her to the slaughter, when I take her to the slaughter, why? This poem was published at Harvard at a time where the word hipster and all that was just not in the book. It was at 1954. It's called In the Tunnel Bone of Cambridge. In spite of voices, Cambridge and all its regions, its horned churches with fawn's feet, its white-haired young and Ashford legions, I decided to spend the night. But that hipster tone of my vision agent decided to reconcile his sound with the sea, leaving me flat north of the Charles. So now I'm stuck here, a subterranean lashed to a pinnacle. I don't know the better things that people know. All I know is the deserter condemned me to black. He said, Gregory, here's 2 boxes of night, 1 tube of moon, and 20 capsules of starlight. Go and have a ball. He left, and the creep took all my Jerry Mulligan records with him. But he didn't cut out right then. I saw him hopping on Brattle Street today. He's got a bum leg on his way to the Tunnel Bone. He made like he didn't see me. He was trying to play it cool. Wild in a station bone, strapped in a luggage vision bone, made sinister by old lessons of motion, the timetable bone said black. Handcuffed to a minister, released in a padded diesel, the brakeman punched my back. Destination, black. Out the window I could see my vision agent hopping along the platform, swinging a burning lantern bone like mad. All aboard, he laughed, all aboard. Far into the tunnel bone I put my ear to the ear of the minister, and I could hear the steel say to the steam, and the steam to the roar, a black ahead, a black ahead, a black and nothing more. I'll read you the first poem I had published. It's called In the Early Morning. In the early morning, beside the runaway hand-in-pocket whistling youth, I see the hopping, drooling desirer, his black legs, the corn-cob pipe and cane, the long greasy coat, and the blood-stained fingernails. He is waiting flat against the trees. King Crow. Old Crow is King Crow. He know all there is to know, like when corn is ripe or when comes time to snow. Old Crow, he say skiak, like big thunder smack, and all crow that is crow follow his long broken tail. Scarecrow is stuffed crow, good crow that stand all the time still with old hat and leaky pail. Scarecrow, he know Tolaco, he friend the great Wakanda, and he know Old Crow is King Crow, and that all corn is gold in Old Crow's land. This one's called In My Beautiful and Things. All beautiful things, my things, and dead dogs in cellophane wrapped and tied, and still as beautiful as mine, in my 2 rooms of dust and no things. A present practice of mine, when a beautiful chick passes by, to squeeze it through my keyhole, or slip it under the door, she's old and not like a mother or a bitch, or a motherless dog. Then I'll take her in my beautiful and things, and will love her in cellophane with string, like music for a world and no things. But I'm not proud with my dirty sink, and her things hanging on my doorknob to dry. It were better to be alone than a bitch housewifing my unwrapped dust with nylons and sticks of tea and no things. This is when I was in the bug house at 12 years old, imagine. Good God. Dialogues from Children's Observation Ward. Yeah, there are 2 dialogues. Right. And mine is the first voice. Right. You don't paint nice. You paint faces on window shades and you don't make them look nice. Window shades is all I got and faces is all I got. Here, in 1951, when I saw someone almost die on heroin, I never made it with that. I never knew what that was until later years in life. But this is when I was 21 years old, I saw this. And it was called The Horse Was Milked. And nobody at the time when this book came out in 1954 knew what I meant by the horse was milked. Do you get milk from a horse? What? All right. In a room, a spoon upon the fire was cooking his secret desire. When all was cooked, he got a belt and hurried before the horse could melt. He strapped the belt across his arm, wiped the needle so it not harm, and tightened the belt for a vein. He pulled and his arm began the pain. With steadied hand he waited the bulge, waited the dream in which he'd indulge. And it came, and the needle filled it with joy, but the horse was milked, and there was no joy. He fell to the floor without a sound and rolled his head like a merry-go-round. Then he rubbed and shook and yanked his hair and vomited air, nothing but air. Deep into the night he rolled and groaned. Oh, never was a poor soul so stoned. All right, the last from this book. This is America. All right, there you go, Betty. For your 50th year. This is America, and I'm fun in it, with a wealth of music and lunatics, with a mouth that cannot sing, and I love a woman and hate the rest, and I'll make it with anything female, 10 to 50, and 50's best. This is America, and there's lots more fun in it, and lunatics. Lots that can't sing worth a damn, and lots that can. But who gives a damn? I do. And California, I sang my Eastern culture into dying Mexican's ear that couldn't hear. And he died with a smile on his face. The bastard had 3 gold teeth, an ounce of tea, a pocket full of peyote, and a 14-year-old wife. This is when I was in Holland, and there's a Harlem there, but it's double A, so it's 2 weird happenings in Harlem. And this was done in 56. About, 56, 56. 4 windmills, acquaintanceships, were spied one morning eating tulips. Noon, and the entire city flips, screaming, "Apocalypse, apocalypse." 2. Oh people, my people, something weirdly architectural, like a radically cannibal, came to Harlem last night and ate up a canal. The last warmth of Arnold. Arnold, warm with God, hides beneath the porch, remembering the time of escape imprisoned in Vermont, shoveling snow. Arnold was from somewhere else, where it was warm, where he wore suede shoes and played ping pong. Arnold knew the Koran, and he knew to sing. Young Julian Sorrell knew his Latin well, and was wise as he was beautiful until his head fell. In the empty atmosphere, Arnold kept a tiplet pigeon, a bag of chicken corn. He thought of Eleanor, her hands, watched her sit sad in school. He got Carmine to lure her into the warm atmosphere. He wanted to kiss her, live with her forever, break her head with bargains. Who is Arnold? I first saw him wear a black cap covered with old Wilkie buttons. He was 13 and afraid, but with a smile, and he was always willing to walk you home, to meet your mother, to tell her about Hester Street Park, about the cold bums there, about the cold old Jewish ladies who sat, hands folded, sad, keeping their faces away from the old Jewish home. Arnold grew up with a knowledge of bookies and chicken pluckers. And Arnold knew to sing, "Dead now my 15th year, FDR, whose smiling face made evil the buck-toothed imperialist, the mustached Aryan, the jut-jawed Caesar, dead now and I weep. For once I did hate that man, and no reason but innocent hate, my cap decked with old Wilkie buttons." Arnold was kicked in the balls by an Italian girl who got mad because there's a big coal strike on, and it forced the Educational Alliance to close its doors. Arnold, weak and dying, stole pennies from the library, but he also read about Paderewski. He used to walk along South Street wondering about the various kinds of glue, and it was about airplane glue he was thinking when he fell and died beneath the Brooklyn Bridge. You know, nobody was sniffing airplane glue in those days, man. I don't know where I got that up, but I picked it out because I used to put airplanes together with that glue. But I think you had to sniff it. So that's how they thought this guy died. He didn't die by sniffing glue. All right. Amnesia, Memphis. This is when I got hung up on ancient Egypt. Who am I, flat beneath the shades of Isis, this clay-skinned body made steady by the precisions of Memphis? Was it always my leaving the north, snug on the back of the crocodile? Do I remember this whirl of mummy cloth as I stood fuming by the Nile? O life abandoned, half embalmed, I beat the soil. For what I am, who I am, I cannot regain, nor sponge my life back with the charm of ibis oil. Still omen of the dribbling scarab, fate that leads me into the chamber of blue perfumes, is there no other worthier prophecy than that decker who decks my spine with ostrich plumes? No more will the scurvy sphinx with beggy prophets their prophecies relate. The pious readers have seen the falcon's head fall onto the jackal's plate. Here was a natural haiku that I wrote just out when I went to Mexico for the first time. Mexico, I went to the zoo, and my friend Kara told me, Gregory, it's an exact haiku, it's got 17 syllables. And it does. And it juxtaposed two things. And I didn't think of haiku at the time. And here it goes. In the Mexican zoo, they have ordinary American cows. On the walls of a dull furnished room, I hang old photos of my childhood girls. With breaking heart I sit, elbow on table, chin on hand, studying the proud eyes of Helen, the golden hair of Suzanne, and the weak mouth of Jane.